What's going on, everybody? It's PlayerPlayzZ here, and I am here with Paw Patrol: The Final Mission, Part 3, The Final Encounter. This is by the Shadow Reader. I reacted to his first two videos a few months back, and you guys keep on asking me to react to Part 3 and 4, and here's Part 3, so without further ado, let's get into this.
The sound of my coffee mug crashing to the ground echoed throughout my apartment building as I stared at the newspaper in complete and utter shock and horror. There, right in front of the newspaper, was a picture of the main crime scene. However, there were only 6 body bags that surrounded the area, with one large blood stain staining the spot where I had shot Mayor Goodway. I, in a panic, skimmed through the rest of the newspaper to try and find some information about the current ongoing investigation. I later found a paragraph that only 6 bodies had been discovered, as well as a few injured members of the cult group at the scene of the crime, which I knew for an absolute fact was absolute bullshit. I was there. There wasn't just 10 people. There was at least 11 in total. As I continued to search around the article to find any more about the bodies, my cell phone went off. "Hello?" I said nervously.
Hey, Officer Michael, it's me, Chief Marcus. I just wanted to call and ask you how you were doing, as well as thank you for helping us out with the case. It really helped us out a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't a problem, Chief. I was just doing my job. Or, well, I had to, or else you would have arrested me.
Yeah, sorry about that. Hey, I need you to do one more thing for me.
And that is?
I need you to come over to the police station. Just this once. I just need you to come over and give your testimony so that we could use it to charge the remaining alive cult members and bring them to justice. Also, bring Chase along with you.
Sir, with all due respect, Chase has already been through a lot of shit already. I don't think he really needs to have any more, issues to deal with.
You don't need to worry about that Officer Marcus. Trust me, I guarantee you we're not going to talk to him or anything like that. In fact, we actually have a pretty nice surprise for him that I think you and him will probably really enjoy.
And with that, the call had ended. I took a deep breath and placed the newspaper on my kitchen counter while I went to go grab a broom and mop to clean up the shattered coffee mug and spilt coffee. As I did this, I heard the sound of Chase walking down the hallway and into the kitchen where I was at. "Good morning, Mike," Chase said with a grin. "Hey, Chase, did you sleep well?" I asked. "Yeah, I did. I had a little bit of pain from my side every so often," Chase said as he pointed at his bandaged side, which was starting to turn red with the small amounts of blood. "Well, I'm glad that you're alright, Chase. I'll make sure to change your bandages and give you some painkillers once I get done around with cleaning this mess up. Oh, and be careful of the broken shards on the ground." "Sure thing," Chase said as he limped away from the kitchen area and into the living room. After a few minutes of cleaning up the mess from the coffee and sweeping up the shards of glass, I made my way over to the counter to get some more gauze bandages from one of the drawers and some painkillers. Then I went over my way to Chase, gently picked him up, and slowly started unwrapping the bandages. He winced slightly in pain as I removed them. After removing the final bandage off of Chase's body, I looked at the stitched up wound. Thankfully, it was healing up properly. There were no signs of infection, and the wound seemed to be closing up very, very quickly. After cleaning up the wound with some peroxide and alcohol, I wrapped the fresh bandage around his body and patted himself on the head. Alright, Chase. Now before I give the medication, I need to tell you something important. What is it? Chase asked. Well, I got a call from Chief Marcus, and we need to go to the police station. What for? Chase asked. Well, it's nothing bad. In fact, there's actually a surprise for us there. Chase's ears immediately lit up once I had told him about the surprise. Really? What is it? Chase said joyfully. I'm not really sure what it is, to be honest with you. When are we going to the station? Chase asked me. When we're both done with breakfast, I had told him. Once Chase and I had finally finished our breakfast, we both got into the car and made our way to the station. On the ride there, Chase decided to spark up a conversation to try and destroy the crazy, deafening silence that was prominent in our car. Well, that and the fact of the matter that my radio was completely broken, so there really wasn't anything we could do about that. Hey, Mike, Chase asked me. Yeah, Chase? I responded back. You seem kind of freaked out today, Chase said with a concerned tone. I honestly couldn't say anything. What's bothering you? Is it about what happened at that cult thing at the cave? I didn't really know how to respond to this question. I mean, should I tell Chase the truth or just brush it off? Well, I knew for a fact that lying wouldn't really do much of any good, and Chase did indeed save me from being sacrificed for a fucking tar demon. So I sucked it up and decided to just go on ahead and tell the truth. I mean, I owed him that much. Well, not exactly, Chase. I mean, don't get me wrong. It really messed me up badly, but that's not the reason why I'm a bit freaked out today, I said. Then what's up? What's the problem? Chase asked me. I saw something in the newspaper about that cult, in the aftermath of what had happened once I took you to the hospital. Okay, keep going, Chase said, eager for me to continue on for more information. I read in the newspaper that only 10 of the cult members were caught during the police raid. 6 of them were dead and the other 4 were admitted into the hospital before being arrested by police. However, Mayor Goodway wasn't there at all. Chase's eyes widened like saucers. No. No. That's not possible. You can't be serious right now, Chase screamed. I'm afraid so, Chase. Mayor Goodway wasn't there. But how the hell is that even possible? You shot her point blank in the head. Her brains and blood practically splattered all over the tree next to me. I saw it with my own eyes. I know, Chase. I don't have any idea how she even survived that.
Must be made of some black magic. And I also want to pause this video because, I just want to take a minute to appreciate this little Chase fan art right here. This is actually pretty cool.
Maybe the ambulance worker got there before the police did and carried her off, I guess, I said, trying to rationalize the situation as best as I could. Wait, if they did do that, wouldn't they have also had to taken away the other members as well? Chase asked. That's true. I don't know exactly. I really don't know, Chase. I have a very crazy suspicion, Chase began. What if, what if the cops and the ambulance workers and everybody else are in on this too? I looked at Chase surprised. Wait, what? You heard me. What if they're all in it as well? What if it isn't just Mayor Goodway and those others? What if the entire town's on it? Chase, it's plausible, I'll admit that, Chase, but I don't really see that being completely true. And how is that? Well, for one, I'm not going after trying to kill you, so yeah, that's one part of it. And the second part, if they were really working for this, do you honestly think that the police would be investigating this? Chase scratched his chin slightly. Okay, you do have a point, but I still think that there's something suspicious going on. Okay, that I can agree with you, Chase. With that little conversation pretty much said and done, I just decided to go on ahead and keep my mouth shut and continue driving down the road towards the police station. After about an hour or so of driving, we both finally had made it. Once there, I got out of my car and made my way towards the passenger seat of my car and carefully placed Chase on my shoulders in order to keep him from getting injured any further. We then both made our way into the police station, only to be greeted by my boss, who seemed to have been waiting for us. "Ah, Officer Chase and Officer Michael, glad you could come by." Officer
Hold on, I probably should turn down the fan a little bit. 1 second. Alright, back to it.
Marcus said as he clasped his hands together. "Hey, Chief," I answered. "Hi, Officer Marcus," Chase said excitedly. Officer Marcus then started walking towards us in extravagant glee, only to then recoil in abject horror at the way we were looking. "Damn, you guys look like shit," Officer Marcus said as he stared at us with a shocked face. I immediately placed one of my free hands on Chase's ears and glared intently at my boss. "Not in front of Chase, Chief. Don't swear," I said sternly. "Oh, hey, sorry about that. Anyway, so Chase, are you ready for your surprise?" the officer asked excitedly. "You bet I am. I love surprises." "Well, you're gonna love this, Chase."
What?
"Officer Tony, I'm gonna need you to come over here and cover Chase's eyes for a surprise." He then looked over to another officer, a female one. "Also, Officer Mary, come here as well and cover Officer Michael's eyes as well." Within less than a few seconds, both their eyes were covered with bandanas. Then we were both escorted to some place on the far right of the building. Then the sound of a door opening filled my ears, and then I heard the chief say, "All right, 1, 2, 3. After the chief said 3, both of our blindfolds were ripped off. It was then that I was greeted by 2 puppies sitting in the middle of the floor. The first pup I laid my eyes on was a male brown and white chihuahua with a brown cowboy hat, green vest, green pup pack, and green collar. The other pup was a female purple and white husky with a teal snow hat and matching sweater vest, and a pup pack colored in the same way. I looked at them in curiosity and surprise. Were these 2 pups also members of the Paw Patrol? I'd never really heard about another 2. I then looked up at Chase, who then had a look of surprise plastered on his face. Officer Marcus then picked up Chase from my shoulders as gently as he possibly could and placed him next to the other pups. He looked at them for a few seconds before saying, "Everest? Tracker? Is that really you?" Chase said as tears filled up in his eyes. "Yeah, Chase, it's us. We heard about what happened to you," Everest said as she walked towards Chase and placed a paw on his shoulder. "We're so sorry about what happened to you and your friends," Tracker spoke up. "We want you to know that we're here for you, Chase. We're not going to let anything get in the way of that," Everest said. I could see that Chase was crying. Hell, even I was starting to tear up a little bit. Chase said nothing, but instead he ran to the 2 of them and started licking them both. It was then, as Chase was reuniting with his friends, that my boss tapped me on my shoulder and motioned for me to join him outside the hall. Once we were both outside the room, Chief Marcus started up the conversation. Well, that was nice. I honestly knew that Chase would love his surprise. Who are they? I asked. You honestly don't know who those two pups are? My boss asked me confused. No, sir, I responded back. I've never really heard of them. At least the Paw Patrol never really told me about them. Well, to answer your question, those pups are Tracker and Everest. They're also members of the Paw Patrol. Oh, now I remember. Oh, I'm such a dunce sometimes. I'm sorry. Now I remember. Chase told me about them about a year back. Oh, I'm such an idiot. So, if you don't mind me asking, why are they here? They're here to give Chase some much-needed support. Oh, and one thing as well. They're also going to be living with you as well. My jaw dropped. Wait, what? I yelled out in surprise. Why for? As I just said, they're here to support Chase. Plus the fact of the matter that their owners are practically dead. Katie specifically, I mean, you did stab her to death. Don't you remember? I blushed a little bit. Yeah, I remember that. But you won't have to worry, Officer Marcus said. They're not going to be staying for too long. Well, I guess it's alright. I mean, Chase could really use the company anyway, I said back. Officer Marcus smiled at me, and then he asked me to meet him in one of the interrogation rooms in the police station. I followed him, and once we were both there, he told me to take a seat in the middle table and that sat in the middle of the room. So what happened out there? The chief questioned. Oh my gosh, it's a long story, I said back. You don't have to worry, you just need to discuss what happened to you and Chase, and that's all. I let out a sigh, and then proceeded to explain everything that happened at that cave. I told him about the glow of the fire, the large stone altar, and the robed people. I also told him about Mayor Goodway and the others, and what they had done to me, and what she had also done to Chase. The chief looked at me a few times, and took some notes on what I was saying. I then told him about Mayor Goodway being missing from the crime scene, and then Chief Marcus immediately froze. What? He said in shock.
What?
Mayor Goodway, I checked the newspapers. She was gone from the scene. That's not possible, Officer Michael. Mayor Goodway was present there. I mean, yes, she was deceased at the crime scene, but she was there. My jaw dropped at this. Wait, what? I swear, she wasn't there. I mean... Well, as far as I can tell you, she's perfectly dead. There's a bullet wound in her head and plenty of other injuries as well. She's actually at the morgue as we speak. I sat there in shock. I just didn't know really what to think or what to say. I just decided to go on ahead and just drop it immediately. Well, Officer Michael, I guess that wraps everything up. Officer Michael said, clicking his pen closed and stacking the papers together. Well, I'm going to let you guys go now. You all have a good day. I thanked Officer Marcus for his time and made my way out of the interrogation room. I then made my way towards the room where Chase and the others were at. Upon entering the room, I saw that Chase, Everest, and Tracker were all playing a game of ball. I smiled at this, knowing that Chase was going to love the news I had for him. Hey Chase, I said aloud. Yeah, Mike? Chase, I got some good news for you, I said. What is it? Chase said, jumping around excitedly. Well, I just had a chat with the chief and, well... I paused. What is it? What is it? What is it? Chase said, jumping in a way that would honestly rival Sky's jump. Chase, as of today, both Tracker and Everest are going to be living with us from now on. Chase's eyes immediately widened with joy. Really? You bet, Chase. Chase and the other pups started jumping around and howling for joy. Then they all ran up to me and jumped onto me, causing me to fall to the floor with a thud. Then, with that, they all began to lick me. Alright, you guys, that's enough, I said. practically being tickled by their tongues. Tracker, Everest, and Chase then all got off my chest, and then without a single word, they all ran, with the exception of Chase, who practically limped, to my car at a breakneck speed. Wow, that was quick, I said flatly. With that, I think the other officers were surprised, and on my way towards the car, I got in and drove home. The rest of the night went by without anything crazy happening. We all enjoyed ourselves and practically celebrated. We had some pizza, drank some alcohol, don't ask how or why, we just did, and watched a crap ton of horror movies to kind of freak up the mood or whatever. Hours upon hours of fun passed, until my cell phone went off again for the second time that night. Hello?
Officer Marcus! Oh fuck, oh shit, oh fucking shit. Mr. Marcus, are you here? Can you hear me?
Who is this?
It's me, Officer Marcus. Oh crap. Officer Michael, you need to get here as soon as you fucking can. We seriously need your help right now. I don't know what the fuck's going on right now. I just don't.
Chief Marcus, hang on, calm down. What's going on? I don't understand. I mean, are you hurt? Are you in trouble? Or what's going on?
Just get to the cemetery. Please, I'm begging you, Michael, please. Just get to the... No.
Hello? Officer Marcus? Officer Marcus, can you hear me? Officer Marcus! Mike, what was that? Chase asked me. Those Officer Marcus, I said in pure shock. Is something wrong? Tracker asked me. You guys, I gotta go, I said, running around looking for my gun. Mike, wait, are you sure about this? Everest said. I think that Mayor Goodweiss or somebody's behind this. You guys, I need to go and investigate. You guys stay here. Wait, what? Chase yelled. Yeah, I need to go, I said frantically as I placed my gun into its holder. Wait, Everest yelled as she hopped off the couch. Take this with you. Everest then placed a small tablet into my hand. This is, or was, Ryder's paw pad. He had at least 20 or so of them remade just in case if he ever lost one of them. Use it in case you need to call us. I thanked Everest for the device, and after placing it into my jacket, I made my way to the car and drove it past to the cemetery. As I drove to my destination in a furious and frantic speed, a small pitter-patter of rain started up. Soon enough, the rain went from a few small droplets to a tidal wave of water that made driving almost impossible to see through. Just as I was about to lose my sanity from the amount of heavy rain, I saw it. Adventure Base Cemetery. I knew for a fact that I had finally arrived. With the utmost care, I parked my car in front of the main entrance of the cemetery and got out of my car. As I exited it, I was soon pelted by the slurry of heavy rain and bits of hail. I quickly covered myself with my police jacket and entered into the cemetery at a quick pace. Officer Marcus! I yelled out. There was no answer. Officer Marcus! I yelled out once more. Still nothing. I continued to look around the place to try and find any signs of life in this desolate graveyard. After a few minutes later, I found a single badge lying in the middle of the graveyard. I slowly picked it up, and with my flashlight carefully examined it. My heart immediately stopped at whose the badge it was. It was Officer Marcus's. I dropped it immediately and ran up the hill where the bodies of Marshall, Zuma, Rocky, Sky, and the others were buried at. Upon arriving, I looked to and fro for anyone. However, I wound up misplacing my step and found myself falling about 6 feet down into a large hole. Thankfully, I hadn't knocked myself out when I did that. However, when I went to go and pull myself up, I had noticed the open an empty coffin, a Marshall the Fire Pup. Oh, no, no, no. Damn it! Not this shit again! I yelled out in a fit of anger and defeat. I crawled out of the grave, nearly slipping a few times in the mud from the rain. Thankfully, I managed to get out of the grave, and once I did, I saw something that made my eyes widen with fear. All the graves of the pups were completely eviscerated and empty. All the coffins were still there, however the bodies of the pups were missing. Maybe this is what Officer Marcus was calling me about. I immediately ran out of the cemetery and back to my car. Upon entering, I started it up and started driving towards the one place that I knew for an absolute fact that the bodies would be at, and maybe even the officers. The cave.
I don't really know what to say right now. I'm lost for words. If Mayor Goodway is still alive, she got shot in the head. How is she still alive? And what happened to Officer Marcus? There are so many questions. Officer Marcus is dead. Why are the bodies being dug out again? And, there's so many questions.